Welcome on in to the Brown Mamba Show Reunion Edition. I am your host, Casey Brown, joined as always by the Matt Mamba. Matt, how are you doing
Yes.
today?
I never know how to answer that question, so I'm good.
Just dead inside?
How are you?
Hey, it's episode 29, which means we're one away from 30, which means we're a third of the way to 100.
Hmm. I did the numbers. It checks out.
Well, not really, because it would be episode
Third.
33.33, repeating, of course.
Okay. Okay.
But you get the idea. We're
Yeah,
back.
we're 30% of the way there.
Yeah,
Three
that math
tenths.
that math that math adds up.
3/10. That's the simplified fraction. You can't simplify it any more than that.
You're right. Well,
If
define.
you say 1.5 by freaking 4.5, I might shoot you. I'll be honest.
Nah, I got a D in math in college.
You did? I
Well,
changed
it
majors.
was
That's how
one
bad
of
I
it
didn't
was
like
one of
math.
them. Like it was there's like some like trig in it or something. It wasn't like full on calc because
Hmm.
when I took calc in high school, like I breezed right through it because it was still like early enough after high school from where I took
Yeah.
it to like where I remember it. It was like in between like algebra and calc, and it was like something like probably should have known, and then
Yeah.
but I didn't, and then I had to just retake it in the summer, and then I got an A without paying attention to the class. So stonks.
I took math for business majors one because at the time I was a business major. And the first time I just didn't show up to class for that
It
semester.
was just like simple algebra, wasn't it?
No, it was more than algebra. I was good at algebra.
Okay.
And then I had to retake it cuz I was so intimidated by the first time so that I withdrew from the class. And then I ran it back and I was like, "Oh, C minus. I can tough my way through a C minus."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, stats was a hard one because
Stats was easy for me. Well, I only
ooh,
took high school stats. So that's probably nothing.
so I didn't take high school stats. I took stats 1 in college and it was all online, which was
Ooh.
great, which was great for me because every single equation had an online calculator for it.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
just
There
plugging
you
in
go.
thing. I think I ended up like a B plus or something. Stats
Yeah,
2
there
was a
you
little
go.
bit different because I didn't learn anything from stats 1. Nothing
Oh, frick.
nothing had an online calculator, and my stats 2 was also online. However, I had to go to the testing center at the lovely the Cuyahoga Community College,
Uh,
so I couldn't cheat either. Um,
ah.
so that was tough. But
So, would you put the work in for the homework, or
so
would you cheat for the homework and then cram for the test
so
to
what I
try and
did
teach yourself?
what I did for the homework was I would cheat, and then what I
Hmm.
realized I could do for the tests was just get my TI 84 or TI 83 and spend the next 1.5 2 hours just typing in every single equation for every single problem that what I realized I needed to do, and then take a good hour and a half long on the test to just scroll through my TI 83 and figure out what equation I need to do for each problem. And I think I had to ask for a round up to a C. I think I finished the class with like a 69.82 or something. I was like,
Mm.
dude,
Come on.
I'm going to Cleveland State next semester. Can you just round this up so I can get the credit? He's like, yeah, you're good. So
As long as you show the effort, you
shout
know?
out to my stats 2 professor. I don't know, remember what his name was, but shout out.
Shout out to the eBay seller that sold me a graphing calculator with corroded batteries inside of it.
Oh,
Really appreciate that.
that's tough.
And then demanding me to ship it back because they didn't believe me or the pictures I sent them. Kick rocks, man.
Yeah,
So I so I was like a month late with my graphing calculator to class.
we're not standing that guy. But you just didn't buy another graphing calculator while that happened.
No, I bought another one, but I got the graphing calculator, but we didn't need it for like the first few classes because
Sure.
class starts off it builds right, and so by the time I'm like, oh, I got to start bringing my graphing calculator. I probably should have tested to make sure it worked beforehand. Now that I think of okay, this might be my fault
Yeah, this is
partially.
absolutely on you. Now that you talk, this is absolutely on you.
Yeah, I opened the package and I'm just like, oh, cool, it's here. Okay, and I just didn't check on it for like a month, and then I'm like, oh frick, yeah, give me my money back. This doesn't work.
Well, well, enough about our math escapades
Mm,
in college, because I'm sure that is thrilling content to some people.
start 'em hot, baby.
So what's been up, Matt? I saw. Congratulations, by the way. You are a new content creator for Cheesehead TV. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, man. I always liked Cheesehead TV stuff, and
Hmm.
then the big guy over at Cheesehead TV's like, "Yo, make stuff for us," and I'm like, "Deal," and then we did it.
Well, that's pretty cool. Now,
That's the series of events.
was this a one-off thing, or are you going to try and make some more appearances?
Nah, he said make videos for us, and
Awesome,
so yeah, I'm gonna be making some more stuff
awesome.
once I finish this semester of school.
Right. No,
If I finish, sorry.
well, you'll finish this semester of school. What comes after that semester of school
Mm,
is the question mark.
yeah,
But oh, that's pretty
stay
cool.
tuned.
So like Cheesehead TV, that's just a YouTube channel specifically directed towards Packers fans. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's not affiliated directly with the Packers,
Yeah.
but we make Packers stuff and
Dope.
talk Packers.
Dope. Well, that's awesome there, Mr. Mamba. And I watched your first video, and I was entertained. Which which for most of your videos, that's like half the battle there.
Yeah, I put like 5% more effort into this one, so I think it showed.
Oh, good for you, man.
5% more, baby.
Speaking of your videos,
Oh boy, what did I do?
You put on an Aaron Rodgers video, talking about
Yeah.
how the Packers never gave help to Aaron Rodgers in the draft, specifically in the first round, but
Yes.
how the Packers never given Aaron Rodgers in the draft, and you tried to disprove that theory, and in a way you did. You talked about
Oh boy.
how at the start of his career he had Jordy Nelson, James Jones, and Greg Jennings, and that's
Yeah.
about as good as a receiving core as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Um, but
But
you kind of, and they won a Super Bowl with that receiving core, by the way. But
sure, yeah.
you kind of use the success from 10 years ago and try to claim it as success now. And I just
Mm,
don't see that adding up. I mean, and also you talked about, getting him linemen in the draft, which is incredibly important. I'm not denying that. But
okay.
we're
Okay.
talking about wide receivers here. If the Packers would have drafted an offensive lineman in the draft last year instead of Jordan Love, I'm pretty sure there would be zero Packers fans as mad as what they were when they drafted Jordan
True.
Love.
Yeah, I said in the video the Jordan Love pick's kind of the iceberg that sunk the Titanic, or something to the effect of that. That was kind of like the you guys really just don't want to draft a receiver for Aaron Rodgers pick right there.
Right. But what I just didn't like was the try claim that, oh yeah, the Packers have helped Aaron Rodgers in the draft because of three guys they drafted 10 years
Sure.
ago, and then one guy that is on the team right now, which Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league. That's
Oh shoot. Okay.
at least he was last year. I think it's him, Julio, and DeAndre Hopkins as a 1A, B, and C. And of
Hmm.
course they drafted him. But I'm not going to claim
That
that
was in
as
2014.
I'm not going to claim that as they're committed to helping him. I know you're on the fence
Hmm.
about MVS. You claimed him as a success in the draft, but I feel like he is
I'd say he made enough impact as a 5th round draft pick to count as a success.
as a 5th round draft pick, sure, but I feel like he might be a little bit closer to the meh than he is to the success.
I also I kind of factored the younger receivers. So like Equanimous St. Brown, I put him in meh.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, technically, he hasn't really done much.
Yeah, you can't
But
judge
then
him
again,
yet.
he's young and he
Right.
still has plenty of time to grow. And I kind of did that with MVS because he's going to be on his 3rd year next year. And last year, does he have problems consistently catching the ball? Yes, but he also led the league in yards per reception, I believe it was. He's averaging like 20.9 yards per reception. So I think he's enough of a success to begin his career that I could say it's a successful pick.
Okay.
So, like, who else in the late
But
2018 draft would I take over Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
Probably nobody.
Fifth. I mean, there might be like someone else.
Yeah.
Receiver-wise, probably not.
No.
But I'm sure there's someone you could find. But
Yeah.
I'd say it's a pretty good pick.
So, okay, I can agree with that. However, I think saying a success, there are different types of success. And, like, out of a scale out of 1 out of 10, Marquez Valdez-Scantling's maybe like a 6 out of 10, when I think Packers fans are looking for like an 8 or 9 out of 10 when it comes to success.
I also think Packers fans have the like, yo,
Small
how come
brains.
we don't have how come yeah, sure. But like Packers fans in particular here, because they go right from Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, James Jones, Jordy Nelson, and now they're kind of here where it's like, oh, okay, and Randall Cobb at one point.
And Randall Cobb, yeah.
So you had all those guys, and they've kind of like fizzled out, and so now we're just left with Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard, who was solid, and MVS, which, you know, it's like high end one, and then it's like,
It's like a poor man's. It's a poor man's Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, and James, not James Jones. James Jones.
James Jones, Randall Cobb. There's a bunch.
James Jones is a basketball player, and it threw me off for a second.
He's also a football player.
He is also. This guy's just really talented. So I think you're a little high and mighty at the end of that video, and I think you need to just come down a little bit.
Okay, so I actually, like, after publishing it and after I rewatched it, I was kind of like, yeah, but it's like, other than Devontae Adams, who have we had? But it's not from a lack of trying. I guess if you want to criticize them for not going like first 3 rounds, obviously, I personally consider receivers to be closer to running backs in the draft, where you can find a lot of value in quality players late in the draft. So, like, you don't always have to spend the first round talent. Obviously, in the first round, you got a safer bet of getting some elite talent. So, but they've made plenty of attempts. Freaking 4th round, we took Jamon Moore. I think he had 2 catches in his career. We had a freaking MVS kind of worked out. We had Equanimous St. Brown.
See,
a lot of undrafted guys. They want to make like an undrafted guy work with Aaron Rodgers, like Jay Kumaro, Alan Lazard, people like that.
Equanimous St. Brown. He was undrafted, wasn't he? Or was he a 7th round pick?
I think he was a 6th or 7th round pick.
Okay. I really liked Equanimous St. Brown coming out of the draft. I feel like I've stated that before. But I at one point I get what you're saying, but I just can't get on board with them saying they're committed to try and get a wide receiver when they keep drafting them in the 4th round. That's just I think you're maybe undervaluing receivers a little bit. I think receivers should be a 2nd to 3rd round pick unless the guy's super talented. Then I think he should be a 1st round pick. I think probably the only position that shouldn't be a 1st round pick in the draft is linebackers, but that's about it. Besides kickers and punters. Besides that, if you have a very talented wide receiver, he can change the entire outlook of your team, like Devontae Adams.
Right.
Now, and you found Devontae Adams in a later round, but
2nd round.
In the 2nd round, but if you try and commit to more 2nd round wide receivers, you're probably gonna have a lot more luck than committing to 5th and 4th round wide receivers.
And I definitely think wide receiver is an important position, especially when you have an elite generational talent at quarterback.
Best quarterback
and I think,
of all time.
Yeah, you have to surround some freaking weapons for this man to play with. But I would also say, after the Super Bowl, the Packers front office has been consistently trying to put together a defense that doesn't give up 30 points a game, to where Aaron Rodgers needs to make these miraculous comebacks and make these Hail Mary throws to get into the playoffs. So that's one. So they've been spending a lot of 1st round picks on defense, like freaking Kenny Clark, was Kevin King the 1st rounder? Jai Alexander, we traded up for him. Rashawn Gary. We've been trying to build the defense, and then on top of that, Aaron Rodgers has gone down with 2 major injuries that have taken away seasons from them. So they're like, oh, frick, we got to get some offensive line help for this kid. So I think they've been ultra focused on those two, and wide receivers been kind of pushed aside because we had this trend early with Ted Thompson being our GM of taking really good receivers in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
But then I guess with Gutekunst, he's always been trading up in the draft. Like every year since he's been a GM, he's traded up. But it's been for defense and Jordan Love. But I think this year it's going to change. I think first or second round you're going to see a receiver. But then again, I could be an idiot, and I'm just looking at this being stupid.
There might be a receiver there good enough for the Packers in the second. There's definitely going to be a good enough wide receiver in the first. In the second, I feel like all the wide receivers are going to go right away. There's going to be a lot of good wide receivers this draft, but they're all going to be taken in the first and second rounds. I don't know. But if you one thing, if Gutekunst was committed to building a offensive powerhouse, and that's why the defense is so lackluster. But he's committed to building a defense that's still kind of been lackluster while not committing to the offense at all.
True.
So yeah. I think Brian Gutekunst is just not it. He is just.
I might also add, sure, you can say the Packers didn't have all these weapons, but I would also say, okay, these are also late round picks. I can't remember when Jamal Williams was taken, third or fourth round in the 2017, and then you had Aaron Jones in the fifth round, and those are key. Those were key players.
That's true
in the passing game. So running backs can't. AJ Dillon, I don't see as much of a receiving threat, more of a power back.
Yeah.
So I can't really make the case for him in the second round.
He seems good though.
On top of that, you can criticize Gutekunst for not focusing on the offense, but we just had the number one scoring offense in the NFL last year.
That's not because of Gutekunst though. Like, you have to realize that was just a two-man team right there.
But you still have to see that it's okay. We have plenty of production on one side of the ball, so why not hyper focus on the other side that's possibly stopping us from getting to a Super Bowl?
Because the plenty of production on the one side of the ball is very volatile and can just shut down at any moment, like, you know, in the NFC Championship game.
In the first half of the NFC Championship game, in the only drive in the second half that counted.
Yeah. So I would really like to see the Packers.
Oh, I'm ticked again, man.
I'd really like to see the Packers hire Elliott Wolf as their next GM once they kick Gutekunst out of there. But
Gutekunst is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Hey, I'm sure if Aaron Rodgers went to the town of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and said, "Town of Green Bay, Wisconsin, you are all owners. Let's kick this guy out of here." The Gutekunst would be in a U-Haul, a freight of U-Hauls, just getting out of Green Bay by 12 p.m. noon. And he said that it's at 11:30 a.m.
Sure. So. And I've been surrounded by a lot of Packers fans and Packers people that keep trying to say and stick up for the we're just trying to keep our options open when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. But the man just came off of an MVP season, one of the best seasons a quarterback has ever had. He's 36, which is old, but you know, with elite quarterbacks, you can see Aaron easily playing 4 or 5 more years if he's able to stay healthy. With, you know, you got this offensive line and an offense that gets the ball out of his hands pretty quick, so you're feeling confident that you can keep him pretty healthy. And I don't understand comparing it directly with the Favre situation, because Favre was talking of retirement since like 2002, 2003, and Rodgers has been like, "Yo, I plan on playing into my 40s."
It'd be one thing. It'd be one thing if Rodgers, when he came back from that injury, didn't look completely the same. But since he's came back from that injury, he's carried the Packers to 2 NFC Championship games. So that I don't think keeping your options when it comes to not the greatest quarterback of all time, the best quarterback of all time until Patrick Mahomes plays for the next 15 years is incredibly stupid.
And I also think the front office is putting Jordan Love in such a near impossible position to succeed.
I feel
and while you can say that for Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love has it worse because now it's like, oh, now we got to hit 3 in a row. Because with Aaron Rodgers, no one was really thinking. There was no expectation of Aaron Rodgers really being as good or better than Favre. But now that it's happened, it just happened. People are gonna have that in the back of their minds, like, okay, so this guy better be the next Aaron Rodgers,
especially
or he's a bust.
especially when one he's playing behind Aaron, or he's the predecessor to
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers, and coming out of the draft, people are comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. Like that is just the
yeah.
worst combo that you can get. Um,
And it's not to say I don't believe in Jordan Love or I don't think he can do it. We obviously haven't seen anything from him. Aaron Rodgers looked shaky in his first couple years when he's trying to learn the system, get adjusted to the NFL. So, like, I'm not trying to say Jordan Love can't do it or he's not good enough. I don't freaking know. And then no one really knows at this point. But I'm just saying, you're putting him in, like, the worst position to succeed. I mean, they do have a good supporting cast, I suppose. You're putting them in a winning organization on a winning team, but you're still putting so much pressure on this kid to just be a legend.
I think Jordan Love is going to be a very good quarterback in the NFL.
I
I
don't
just
know, man.
don't think it's going to be with the Packers.
And now I'm hearing rumors that the Packers are going to trade Jordan Love on draft day.
There was
That's not
so
going to happen.
this came from McAfee, so take it with a grain of salt. But they're
Is that
talking.
where it came from?
It's where it got big. I guess someone
Mm.
leaked on Twitter of a Packers front office desk of some sort with the trade of Jordan Love, the 29th pick, and a fourth round pick to the New England Patriots for the first pick this year. Which one? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen. If I'm the Packers, I'm getting at least like another second round pick out of that, and maybe like a next year fourth. But
Are we sure that's not Brian Gutekunst's daughter that made a drawing that appeared to say those words?
it looked semi official. It but I don't know. Who knows where it came from and who knows how legit it is. And it came from McAfee, which McAfee is basically TMZ but for
Oh,
sports. Which I really like. I
ooh.
really like Pat McAfee's show. But let's take it with a grain of salt of what he
He's
said.
never been personally my thing,
Yeah.
but I guess I can understand the appeal. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I still didn't even watch, even when he had Aaron Rodgers on every week. I was still kind of
Dude,
like, I'll get the highlights, I'll get the
I would
the
watch
notes.
those. Rogers was awesome in those. It's just
That's
it
what
was
everyone says.
really really cool to watch. But McAfee can be a lot for some people. So all right. Well, Matthew, did Ben Askren take a dive?
The dude really he's a pretty. How much UFC experience did he have? I'm not
So
too,
UFC experience, he had 3 or 4 fights.
but
Before
you know,
that,
3 official UFC fights. I'm sure he had a lot of
before
fighting
that,
experience before getting into that.
before that, he fought in one championship, which is like the huge MMA. It's the UFC, but over in Asia, does
Okay,
massive numbers.
so the guy's got enough experience,
Hmm.
right? The guy was really not looking to defend himself. And at that same point, he wasn't really defending himself and he wasn't throwing any punches. So it's a little peculiar. I don't want to say he took a dive, but I don't want to say no either because the more I think about it, holy frick, man, that just like first round, you're not even going to try and be like, yo, this Jake Paul kid has never been to a distance fight where he's like, wouldn't your instincts be like just attack his body and take him the distance and then catch him late? This guy's strategy was, I don't know, collect a check and leave as quickly as possible.
So, so let me give some background on Ben Askren. Well, one here. Let me. Did he take a dive or no? Yes or no?
No,
No. Okay, I
I'm gonna
agree.
say no.
I agree. Here's Ben Askren. Ben Askren was an Olympic level wrestler. He got the name Funky Ben Askren because of his wrestling style that was very peculiar, had some very weird oddities in it.
Okay.
But also because he looks like a funky guy. If you looked at him,
Sure.
he would be a beer league softball player. Um, but he is an elite level wrestler, which ideally translates into an elite level athlete 99% of the time. But if you ever watch that guy just walk or move around in a ring, it just doesn't
Yeah.
add up whatsoever.
And I was even listening to, I don't know, I think it was Snoop Dogg. Oh God, Snoop Dogg is commentating boxing, and I'm supposed to take this seriously.
I
Snoop
like it when
Dogg
he
was
does it.
I do too, but I'm just saying, Snoop Dogg commentating a YouTuber boxing event. What the frick is happening? But Snoop Dogg said he had like a 50 style boxing pose where
He
he was kind of
really
like, put him up
does.
here.
He really does. So that's the thing about Ben Askren. When Ben Askren was in one fighting championship before he came to the UFC, he was undefeated for over a decade. That man did
Okay.
not lose one fight. Now, one championship has lower level skill than the UFC. There's probably some skilled guys that could make it in the UFC, but there's some lower level skill, and there's some debates about guys who take dives in one championship, but that's neither here nor there. But Ben
Sure.
Askren was undefeated for over a decade in one fighting
Mm-hmm.
championship, which is unheard of. How he did it was he would just take a few shots here and there, and then get a guy to a ground, wrestle him, and then either just control him for the rest of the fight or try and get a TKO or a submission.
Yeah.
When he came to the UFC, his first fight was against Ruthless Robbie Lawler. His name's Ruthless for a reason because the guy is just a warrior. He knows how to deliver a mean punch.
Mm-hmm.
That was Askren's first fight, and Askren got knocked out multiple times, but they were flash knockouts to where Robbie knocked him out, then punched him, which woke Ben back up.
What
So,
the?
and
Sounds like the plot of Rocky 70.
that happens all the time in the UFC. A guy will get knocked out by a punch, and then the next punch will wake him back up. That happens all the time.
That's like in TV shows when they have a character has amnesia and they're like, well, I guess we're gonna have to absolutely obliterate this little girl again to get her memory back.
It's exactly what happens. So, Ben's chin has always been very questionable. However, in that fight, he would then wrestle Robbie Lawler into a submission that was controversial, but that's neither here nor there. His
Uh-huh.
next fight would go against Jorge Masvidal, where he takes a knee off the top of his head. It's the most iconic knockout in UFC history for good reason.
Oh, okay.
His next fight,
Jake Paul.
no, was
Oh, okay.
against a guy by the name of Damian Maia. Now, Damian Maia is well respected in the UFC community because he is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu multiple times over. He's not a
Okay.
great striker, though. So they were like, all right, so you have an Olympic level wrestler in Ben Askren, who's known for being able to control his opponents on the ground, and this multiple time black belt
Mm-hmm.
athlete, and Damian Maia, who is known to control his opponents on the ground through Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. But neither are great strikers.
Okay.
Matt, I'm not kidding you. If you ever decide to watch this Ben Askren fight, it literally looks like Damian Maia is the greatest boxer in the world compared to Ben Askren. I saw a spinning back fist that can only be described by the athleticism of a 9-year-old come from Ben Askren. I don't
Oh
I,
shoot.
I don't know what people expected coming into this fight
Yeah.
when Ben Askren was a horrible, horrible stand-up fighter. Now, I don't know much about Jake Paul. I don't know much about his boxing. I saw him knock out Nate
Yeah.
Robinson, who probably put a
Which Nate Robinson basically knocked himself out because he left his feet every 2 seconds.
who was probably putting 3 months into a boxing gym before he fought Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Jake Paul. He looks like a really big guy. He looks probably what
He's built. I
six
would I
one
would say he's muscular.
six
Yeah.
one 190, probably somewhere around there. Ben Askren fought at 170. So that's 20 pounds over what Ben Askren fought. Jake Paul is a
Uh-huh.
huge guy. He looks built, and usually built comes with power. So I don't understand why people are just shocked by this happening, but I should have put money on Jake Paul for this happening because I was not shocked at
Yeah.
all. Ben Askren has a bad chin. He looks like a toddler trying to learn how to box with boxing gloves on, and Jake Paul looks fine. Like I don't know. Jake Paul looks like he could, if he actually worked at it, he could be a semi-proficient boxer.
I think the shock comes from the clickbait titles of YouTuber fights UFC fighter,
Yeah.
and everyone's just like, oh, it's freaking over.
Right.
But I look at the guy, and this also plays a factor. I don't think anyone takes him seriously. And I get he's the freaking idiot. I get he's a freaking clout chasing, scams his 9-year-old fans. He's right. What the frick is this guy going to do to me in a boxing ring?
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I don't really follow him. I don't really know anything about him.
Yeah,
But just kind of from his personality, this boxing thing seems like the perfect thing to where he can put a lot of his effort and mind into. And I'm sure he takes it seriously, but none of his opponents take it seriously or as seriously as he takes it.
that's the
His
problem.
first fight was against another YouTuber who is a scrawny dude, and no one thought he was going to win. And yeah, he got knocked out. Then he takes on Nate Robinson, who is basically just like, who the frick does this guy think he is? I want to fight him. Oh, frick, I don't know anything about boxing. And then you have the UFC fighter who probably was just like, yeah, this will be good for some attention and a quick paycheck.
A 37-year-old UFC fighter who is notorious for how bad he is at stand-up. So
So yeah, I
don't
wasn't
know.
surprised either.
I mean, like I was saying, like Jake Paul looks like he could be a
Yeah.
boxer maybe one day. I don't know the competition level. I don't know how fast his punches look compared to other guys' punches. I'm not familiar
I
with
don't know.
boxing, but he looks semi legit, and I can tell you Ben Askren wasn't going to look legit at all.
I just want to see from freaking Jake Paul. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's got to fight a real boxer now," and it's like, yeah, sure, that'll happen. Are real boxers really lining up to fight Jake Paul?
I bet
Unless
some are.
unless they're unless they're desperate for attention or something like that.
I bet some just want to get in
That's
there and hit him right across the
yeah,
book.
sure.
But yeah,
And I'm sure Jake Paul's kind of looking at it to where he's like, I need to get the biggest names I possibly can
oh yeah,
to that are at least somewhat legitimate, I guess. But I
yeah.
just want to see the guy go more than one round. I want to see how he does stamina
He
wise. I
looks
want to see if
he
he's
looks
able to keep it
gassed.
up.
He looked gassed by the end of the fight.
Jake?
Yeah, yeah. He looked
Yeah, that's
gassed.
what I'm saying. We never see him after a single round.
And what, 2 minutes in, and he looked kind of gassed. I mean, that just may be
He
me.
just doesn't have the experience of it.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know much about Jake. I think
I don't want to, really.
yeah, I don't want to either. I think if I was a YouTuber and I wanted to get into boxing and make this a serious thing, I think fighting a UFC fighter and winning would make me more credible. I think that was a smart
Sure.
move by him.
Yeah.
Even though when I look at it personally as a UFC fan and realize who Ben
Right.
Askren is, it was like, yeah, well, I would want to fight him too. No, I wouldn't. But but I think that was a good move by Jake. I think it makes it somewhat more credible. I mean, say what you want about how bad Van Askren is, but he fought in the UFC. I mean,
Yeah, that's I mean that has to count for something.
there's a skill level in there that even though he was bad at, is still better than a lot of the world. So I think his skill level is probably better than 98% of YouTubers.
Yeah, I would say 99.
So yeah, but Ben Askren didn't take a dive. He's just old and sucks.
Yeah, I can understand how it looks like it, definitely from an outside perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But so like I'm trying to rationalize their thinking in it, but when I looked at it and I just like kind of in the moment, not for a second did I think, oh, he's taking a dive or that wasn't legitimate. I was just like, oh yeah, he caught him.
Mm-hmm. I want to see him and his brother box. That would be. Let's just do it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll happen,
They're
right?
the same size. I mean, Logan looks a little bit bigger than him, but they're close to the same
Yeah.
size.
Jake would probably win. Logan's too busy opening Pokemon cards and I don't know, whatever else he does.
I am unaware what either of them do. I know Logan has.
I'm ashamed I know as little as I do.
I know Logan has this thing with KSI, who I barely know of. But,
Barely know,
and
yeah.
then I know the whole thing with the Suicide Forest. Besides
Yeah.
that, I've got no clue what Logan and Jake Paul are.
I don't watch any of their stuff. I just kind of look at people like I watch people get mad at what they do, and they're like, look at what the Paul brothers are doing now. It's like, Well, stop. Just stop watching them, and they'll go away.
Yeah. All right, Matthew. Here's some quick questions for you.
All right,
Because Julian Edelman retired. Is he a
sure.
Hall of
No, he's
Famer?
not a Hall of Famer. No. He's already in the Hall of Fame in his little exhibits for his accomplishments that he did in the postseason, and that's the only thing you have is his postseason accomplishments, and he will forever be in Canton with a little display of his catch in the Super Bowl where he made that catch against the Falcons. So he's in the Super Bowl. No need to put his mediocre career. I don't want to say mediocre.
It's
In
fine.
comparison to
It's
other Hall of
fine.
Famers, a trash career. If he's a Hall of Famer, then Greg Jennings is a Hall of Famer.
I think it was 15 years ago yesterday when Greg Jennings carried an entire team off of a broken leg.
Absolutely.
One broken
Put him in
leg.
the Hall. Taking on Darren Sharper,
The hottest hitting safety in the league.
who is now in jail for rape. Even more impressive by Greg Jennings.
That's right. All right, so no,
Caught him off guard there.
Julian Edelman is not a Hall of Famer. Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? This is a hard one. Should Phillip Rivers be in the Hall of Fame? Not will he be in the Hall of Fame. Should Phillip Rivers be in the Hall of Fame?
Okay, so should he be in the Hall of Fame? All right, so I'm doing this thing where it's like my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. But which one is actually telling me no? I feel like my mind. I think no. You know what? Both of them are telling me no. No.
No. Interesting.
I get the stats. I get the
So
longevity.
63,000 yards.
Yeah,
Throwing,
it's impressive. But was he
421
ever
touchdowns.
considered a top 5 quarterback in the NFL?
Of course he was.
When?
I mean,
When Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees occupy 3 of the spots.
Yeah, I think Phillip
Russell
Rivers,
Wilson now occupies one of the spots. Aaron Rodgers also occupied one of those spots. Brett Favre occupied one of those spots.
No,
maybe.
he got in
Favre
after kind of Favre was.
I'd say Favre was top 10 at that point.
Yeah, Favre wasn't the elite guy when Rivers was.
Also, Big Ben in the beginning of his career was put in those lists ahead of Phillip Rivers. I know he's a meme now, but Big Ben used to be pretty good.
Big Ben used to be pretty good, but I think after Brees, Manning, and Brady, Rivers and Rodgers and Ben were all competing for that 5th spot, and
Nani?
I'm sorry, 4th and 5th spot. I think all 3 of them were competing for that 4th and 5th spot, which basically makes me believe that Phillip Rivers averaged around a 5th best player around that time. Or I'm sorry, 5th best quarterback around that time. Somewhere.
So by the time Russell Wilson got to where he was, you think Rivers was already on the down slope at that point?
I mean, by the time Russell Wilson kind of got onto the scene and became the quarterback that he is, I mean, Manning was basically done. And
right. Okay.
So kind of, I mean, it still kind of averages it out.
Mahomes came late, and Rivers wasn't even a factor by the time Mahomes was a thing.
People overrated Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you remember when Matt Ryan was an MVP candidate for like 6 games, 8 games, somewhere around there?
Remember when he won an MVP?
He did win an MVP. Ew.
And then he blew a 28-3 lead. Well, not really him. Dan Quinn blew a 28-3 lead.
And
Let's
Kyle
be real.
Shanahan.
Was he the play caller?
Shanahan was the one who could have like ran the ball just the entire 3rd quarter. He's like, hey, you want Matt Ryan?
That you messed up, dog.
Just throw the ball. Kyle Shanahan seems to have a tendency doing that.
Yeah.
taking your mediocre quarterbacks and late in the game when you could just run the ball and run the clock out, and instead you have Jimmy Garoppolo miss a 3rd and 8 with a guy with like 7 yards of separation. Anyways, so yes, I think Phillip Rivers for at least.
You think he's a Hall of Famer?
For at least 6 years of his career, 7 years was a top 5 quarterback, and probably for a majority of his career was like a top 7 or 8 quarterback. Yeah, I fully.
It's really tough to say this now because we're fresh off of just seeing him as a Colt.
Yeah.
Shell of himself. So you kind of have to take yourself back to like 2006 to 2000, 2015, kind of that
That's
era
a
of
really
Phillip
good
Rivers.
range there, Matt. I'm looking at his Pro Football Reference. That is a really good
Really?
range. Yeah.
I kind of went 2 years after he was a rookie and like added 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, more. It's probably closer to like 2008 than 2006. But yeah, no, that was a really
Okay.
good. That was a really good range.
Yeah, so I'm trying to take myself back to that. It's really hard because the Chargers were really never. Well, I guess at points they were a serious contender, but they just never got close. So I'm trying to put myself in the position of that, but I can definitely understand putting him in the Hall of Fame. I wouldn't be one of those people that would be outraged if I saw him get into the Hall of Fame. I guess I just wouldn't personally put my vote, but I haven't really looked into it either. So what the frick do I know?
I'm trying to find like his career like achievements. Here we go. 10 awards. Okay, so he's an 8-time Pro Bowler, which I feel like the Pro Bowl back then has a little bit more validity than it was uh than it does
I
now.
would look more at. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I don't think he was ever an All Pro, which kind of hurts his that kind of hurts his claim.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look here. I mean, NFL Comeback Player of the Year 2013. That doesn't really help too much. All Pro teams. First
Yeah.
team 2009, second team 2013. All right, so he's a 2-time All Pro.
Oh, there's 2. Okay.
According to the Pro Football Reference Hall of Fame monitor, he has a
Oh, is that a thing?
I guess so. He has a 97.64 score, which is 12th among QBs. However, the average Hall of Fame QB is 104.18. I don't really know what that means. I'm going to guess that's close to war, but
you're speaking French to me right now.
I'm speaking French to myself. But he had that longest stretch for like 7-8 years where he was undefeated in December. I know that's more of like a fun stat and everything, but that was a really cool.
It still means something.
It's still, yeah, I think so. Again, part of his problem was just that the Chargers sucked, with the exception of him and LaDainian Tomlinson.
And Tomlinson was near the end by the time freaking Rivers got there.
Yeah, to like he had no help, and I mean the dude still put out a show in San Diego for a good amount of his career. So I think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer, but I think he is on the border of a Hall of Famer or not.
Yeah, as you were talking, I kind of thought to myself the same thing you just said, which was I don't want to clump him with the trash team that he was with. He can't really help that situation. The only thing he can do is ask to be traded, but you can't really fault the guy or get mad at him for staying loyal as much as he could with freaking San Diego / Los Angeles for as long as he did. If anything, he deserves more credit for freaking sticking there. But I don't really want to. I don't really want to penalize him for having not the best support. So you know what? The more I think about it, the more I think, all right, just put him in the Hall of Fame. They got a million fools in there. What the frick? It's not going to end the world if Phillip Rivers is in there.
Keenan Allen probably was his best wide receiver, and he was towards the end of the thing, right? Or
was he with Vincent Jackson ever?
Vincent
or was he already
Jackson
gone?
Was a dog. No, Vincent Jackson was there for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, rest in peace, Vincent Jackson, man. That was sad.
He's dead?
Yeah, he died, man.
What?
It was a few months ago.
Yo, I didn't know that.
I can't remember if it was like a drug thing or not. I don't want to friggin' speculate. But yeah, it was really sad.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
He had
I like
Malcolm
Vincent
Floyd,
Jackson.
who Malcolm Floyd was decent.
Everyone was hyping him up, and he never did anything like super crazy. He had Gates pretty much. Antonio Gates was the consistent guy.
Yeah, but I mean,
Hunter Henry's always hurt and disappointing to fantasy football owners. Who else does he have? Are we gonna say Austin Eckler?
No, we're not gonna say that.
Are we gonna say Melvin Gordon?
We're gonna stop. We're not gonna say these things. All right, is Frank Gore a Hall of Famer? There's only one right answer to this.
I feel like you're gonna say no, but I say yes.
I don't think he is. I don't think I don't.
Holy
I don't care.
frick.
I don't care what position it is. I don't think we should reward.
So I'm gonna guess.
Reward longevity.
I think longevity plays a factor. I don't think it's the only thing or the most important thing, but I definitely think that plays a factor. But I guess is the argument you're going to make that he wasn't ever a top 5 running back in the league?
Most times he wasn't like a top 7 or 8 guy, let alone a top 5.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he made All Pro once in 2006, and in 2006
I know he had like one year where
he
he had
had
like
six
1400
he had
yards.
1,600 yards and
Oh shoot.
8 touchdowns. Very good year. Besides that,
All right, I have to look this up on my phone or
here
else
is
my
his rushing
computer's going to
stats.
crash.
Here is rushing stats. 2005 was 600 yards. 2007, 1102, 1036, 1120, 853, 1211, 1214, 1128, 1106, 967, 1025, 961, 722, 599, and 653. He had one good year and then a bunch of like, yeah, okay, and then some, eh. His highest touchdown total was 10.
Okay, so he was never that's the one thing I always remember when looking at his stats was he never had a bunch of rushing touchdowns. So, looking at the beginning of his career, he came off what did he come off of? An ACL injury coming into the league,
Yeah,
I believe.
I
And
think
he
you're right.
was I think was he a third round pick? I can't remember. So he kind of his first year he kind of had to freaking work his way into it. And then after that, he had what 4,000 yard seasons in a row. And I'd also make the argument that his carry totals are actually pretty high. I was gonna say the offense didn't necessarily run through him, but I'm seeing like he seems to be a running back where he's gonna get the ball 20 to 25 times a game.
Yeah, he had that one year in 2006, which was 5 point yards per attempt. But after that, he never broke 5.
And that was back in like the weird time in the NFL where like so many running backs were rushing for 1,500 plus yards. And that just like never happens anymore
Right,
unless you're Derrick Henry.
right. So no, for me, Frank Gore is absolutely not a Hall of Famer. Hall of very good. Hall of very good.
I hate that. I hate that. I hate it so much.
Well, what else you want to do? What else you want to say, Matt?
It's not a thing. There's no Hall of Very Good. Stop saying that empty statement. Where are you going to put him? You're not putting him anywhere. You're just saying he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. All right, just say that. Sorry, I took some anger out on you. I think Skip Bayless says it all the time, and that's like, just shut up, dude. Just shut up. All right, let me see.
I
I also think it's not helping. Are people going to say he's stat padding
I
for these
he
later
kind
seasons?
of
I think he just
is.
loves. I think he just likes football, and he really wants to be on a playoff team.
Okay,
But then
so
again,
then
he's really not trying
in that case,
because
is it
he's on Miami, Buffalo before Josh Allen was really good, and then the Jets.
okay? Instead, in that case, then he's accidentally stat padding,
I'd say absolutely he's accidentally stat padding.
which is
He's in the Hall
fine.
of Very Good Stat Padding.
I'm not gonna hold that against him, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
I think the legend is kind of building because he's still sticking around. So people are like, "Oh my God, Frank Gore's a legend. He's still how old is he now? He's still friggin' where's his age? Come on, freaking Football Reference. Put his age. He's still almost 40 and he's still in the league, which it's impressive.
Very
It
impressive.
is. I'm still putting him in the Hall of Fame. He's kind of really in the same boat as Philip Rivers
I
for
think
me.
he will be in the Hall of Fame, and he's like one
He
of the
will.
guys where I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not. I am not going to be hard pressed if Frank Gore's in the Hall of Fame, but I just don't think he belongs. He's like the opposite of Joe Mauer, where Joe Mauer was putting up Hall of Fame stats his entire career and just was derailed by injuries. Frank Gore's been
Yeah.
putting up mediocre stats his entire career, but it's just been like, hey, I'm here. Like you cannot get rid of me for some reason.
Remember Sterling Sharp for the Packers, who got derailed by injuries? And I think he had 18 receiving touchdowns. And then he just retired because of injury. And he's just not in the Hall of Fame. Shannon Sharp's brother was an absolute legend in the early Brett Favre years. And I'm
Huh.
pretty sure he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, looking at his stats, he was pretty good. But he only played what 6 years?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
just the
7 years. Yeah.
injuries, he was elite. when he was at the top of his game. It's just, what do you do with those players?
You put them in the Hall of Very Good, Matthew.
Well, first you gotta invent a Hall of Very Good.
You don't have to invent one. That's just a classification of them.
How are you? That doesn't make sense, dude.
We don't actually.
That's like the unwritten rules of baseball, except they're written everywhere. I hate
don't-
when people call them unwritten rules. I got at least 58 blog posts that got them all written down.
We don't. Well, they're not written down for the players. You abide by
Yes,
these.
they are.
You abide by these rules. You abide by these society.
Is it like is it like a second just basic instinct in the back of their head, like cats know to cover their poop and baseball players know not to freaking celebrate hitting a home run?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my god.
No, do I think they're stupid? Absolutely, but
Yeah,
that's
most
what
of
they
them.
are. Because like you don't actually put Jimmy Garoppolo in the trash, but he is trash. You don't. There is no Hall of Very Good for guys.
No.
Like
All right, trash is an adjective.
and Hall
Jimmy
of Very Good is an
Garoppolo
adjective.
is
Hall of Very
trash.
Good is an adjective.
No, it isn't. It is the Bermuda Triangle. That's what it is. It doesn't exist. Wait, does the Bermuda Triangle exist? Am I that much of an idiot?
Does, you moron?
Wait, is it like an actual
Yes.
landmark,
Oh
or is it just a myth?
God.
Wait, I'm being serious. I'm being serious.
Yes, it is a real thing.
But it's just a myth behind it.
Yes.
Okay, so that was a bad example. It's like Atlantis. Let's go. Don't tell me Atlantis is real. I swear to freaking God, if you tell me Atlantis is real, I'm going to walk out of here,
What do you
go
think?
to my nearest museum, and
think-
say, why the frick isn't there an Atlantis freaking exhibit in every museum? Because that is incredible.
Do you think
But
Atlantis
there's
is
no
real?
way it's real. No, there's no way. It's a myth.
Matthew.
It's in the Hall of
Are
Very
you being
Good
serious
Myths.
right now? Are you being serious right now? You don't think
Are
Atlantis
you trying?
Matthew.
What are you saying?
Matthew. Yeah, it's not a real place. You're good.
Okay, good. What the frick, man?
Wow. All right.
I would have been like Will Smith in the Fresh Prince intro, and you would have just turned up my world upside down, man.
All right. Let's finish off this topic. Is Eli a Hall of Famer?
Oh God, he's the same thing as Julian Edelman. He's already in the Hall of Fame for his playoff accomplishments. He's gonna have his pictures everywhere. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
All right. Let's play this game. Do you think Julian Edelman will be in the Hall of Fame?
See, I know Rivers and Gore are safe bets to be in the Hall
Manning.
of Fame.
I think Manning's a safe bet as well.
I'd say Manning has a better chance over Edelman.
I think if Eli doesn't beat Brady and beats some other quarterback in the Super
That's
Bowls,
true.
then he's not in the Hall of Fame. But I think since he beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl, I think like that makes him a lock, even though it wasn't him, it was his defense. But go ahead.
I also think that no one talks about how great his defenses were also helps his case. So people just forget
Tom
how
Brady?
he was.
Are we talking about Tom Brady?
No, we're talking Eli Manning for those 2 years. Also Tom Brady, though.
Also
it
Tom
also
Brady.
applies.
Not Philip
Except
Rivers,
for
though.
the Falcons here.
Not Philip Rivers.
Nah. He's always had defenses that were overhyped good in the beginning of the season,
Mhm.
but then they were either actually bad or injury prone.
Are we talking about Philip Rivers?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's still the Chargers' way. That's been the Chargers' MO for the past like 10 years.
Yeah.
All right. But no, I think Eli gets in, but I don't think he's a Hall of Famer either.
If there was a gun to my head, I would probably say Eli gets in, Edelman doesn't, Philip Rivers and Frank Gore do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I agree. All right, well, that was fun.
Yeah, I just learned the Bermuda Triangle is real. What the frick?
All right. Since the draft is semi coming up, I quickly wanted to talk about something that I did. Everybody's talking about Trevor Lawrence being the first,
Are they?
being the first guy going. Most surefire.
Sure.
Most surefire.
Oh God! Don't you dare say that you think Justin Fields is gonna go first overall.
No, I don't. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to go first. That's basically
Okay, good. Okay,
it's
cool.
basically confirmed by Urban Meyer, which is still weird to think about, but everybody's saying Trevor Lawrence is the most surefire pick since Andrew Luck, which I feel like every single every single first round or first overall pick has been the most surefire prospect since Luck has
That's
been
really what they
drafted.
do every year. Yeah.
Like, we were saying the same exact thing about Joe Burrow last year, people. Like, do we not
It's
remember?
like the NBA when everyone's like, this is the most hyped up prospect since LeBron James.
It's
I heard that
ridiculous.
about Zion, Ben Simmons, freaking. Who else have I heard it about?
Probably
I'm sure
Embiid.
we're gonna hear.
Like,
Golly, man.
it is so annoying.
No, Zion Williamson's the most hyped up prospect since Ben Simmons. All right,
Yeah.
get the
So
frick out of here.
I will say this about Trevor Lawrence. I think he benefits a lot off of Clemson's scheme and the trash opponents that they play and Clemson's great roster. I will also say this about Trevor Lawrence. Without a doubt, he is the best quarterback in this draft right now. I think he has the highest floor out of all the quarterbacks, and I don't want to say it's not close, but I think he has a substantial lead over them. However,
Okay.
I think he has a so much lower ceiling than what people think. I don't know about any of these quarterbacks in the draft. I'm willing to bet that I think Justin Fields is going to be the best quarterback that come out of this draft, and I don't even know if Justin Fields is going to be anything more than a couple-time Pro Bowler. That's how unconfident I am about all these quarterbacks in the draft. I think Mac Jones is just another Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, Kyle Trask and Trey Lance are really interesting to me. I like Trey Lance a lot, but they're interesting. But I can't predict anything from them. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be just good,
Solid.
just good. So
Yeah.
I thought to myself, how do I figure out what Trevor Lawrence is going to be? So what I did was I took the average of Aaron Rodgers' worst year.
Ooh.
I took the average of Ben Roethlisberger's worst year. These are two guys where he plays a lot more like Ben Roethlisberger, so that's why I picked Ben Roethlisberger. But I also picked Aaron Rodgers because of how the way people are hyping up. And I thought to myself, who's the most average quarterback in the league? So I took the average of Kirk Cousins' entire career. Here's what I came with.
Oh, frick.
So what I predict for Trevor Lawrence, and when I did all these numbers, I was like, yeah, this kind of adds up. This is exactly how I think Trevor Lawrence is going to play.
Oh boy.
62%, 62.4% completion rating, which is pretty good.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Solid.
That's not anything crazy. That's nothing to write home about, but
It's fine.
I'm fine with my quarterback throwing that. 25.62 touchdowns a season.
Fine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
14 interceptions. I think that one might be a little high. I think it's probably closer to 11 or 12. But if my quarterback's throwing 12 interceptions and 25 touchdowns, eh, it's a lot, but I'm okay with it. 7.3 yards per attempt, which is about average. It's decent.
Yeah.
24 or 243 yards per game, which would equal 3,910 yards per season.
Okay.
Again, that's fine. And then a 86 or 88.6 QB rating, and then a 59.3 QBR, which I don't understand how those two things are different. I don't understand what either of them are still.
ESPN just wanted to change it a little so they could have their own stat.
But what I do know, an 88.6 QB rating and a 59.3 QBR are not anything to write home about either. And it's thought to
They're
myself,
all average, is what I'm getting.
yeah, pretty average. If my quarterback's doing this in a game, I'm like, okay, this gives the team a shot. However, this is not worth a first-round pick. So that is my Trevor Lawrence prediction, and I will be right about it.
Yeah, whenever I watch Trevor Lawrence, which is not very often because I don't watch very much college football, as you know, I was never blown away, other than the fact that one time someone on Twitter said I look like fat Trevor Lawrence, and I got really sad at how hilariously true it was. But other than that, I was never really blown away by him. I don't know. I look at his numbers and his accomplishments at Clemson, and I'm like, yeah. That seems pretty good. But obviously, there's obviously countless examples of college football quarterbacks that really couldn't translate at the NFL level. And obviously, everyone knows about first overall pick quarterbacks not really having the best track record in the NFL. And does that really have to do with the talent at first overall, or does it really have to do with the systems they're getting themselves into as the worst team in the NFL?
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I will say, one thing that surprised me about Trevor Lawrence is how quick he is. When I watched him, I was like, wow, this dude can actually move a little bit. Now he's a big guy, so I'm sure once he takes a few shots, he's going to start slowing down. But
Sure.
um, so do I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a good quarterback in the NFL? Yeah, probably. I think the odds are in his favor. Do I think he's worth an number one overall pick though? Absolutely not.
But can he do it in Jacksonville with
No,
Urban Meyer, who is
no.
probably going to start screaming 2 months into the season, and then he's going to be like, "Oh frick, I forgot. This is bad for my health, and I'm probably going to die. I should probably retire again for the third time."
No, no, yeah, no. That's just not going to work. Uh, Meyer's going to be gone there in 2 years. Um,
That's kind of generally what I mean. I hope he's healthy. I hope everything works out.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not rooting against him. I don't hate the guy. It's just I'm actually worried about him.
I am too.
I can see the movies now about Urban Meyer that with a trash tagline like his love of football ended up costing his life. Something like that. I can see ESPN 30 for 30. It writes itself, man. And I don't want to see it. Urban, take care of yourself.
I,
Get a new hobby. Stamp collecting is here for a
he was
reason.
really good as a football analyst. Like, just stick with that
Stress
herbs.
free, talk about football, baby.
Just stick with that herbs.
Do what every other white person in this country is doing. Start a podcast for God's sake.
Exactly. All right. All right. I just want to go on a little diatribe there. All right, Matthew. MLB, NBA, NFL. Anything you want to shoot the crap about?
Indians suck.
They suck.
I'm not paying attention to the NBA, and Packers are going to win the Super Bowl next year. But I've been saying that for the past 10 years, so don't take my word on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're like 15 games in the season, but yeah, the Indians suck, and the Mariners and Royals and Red Sox are leading the division. So that's what you need to know about April baseball.
I will say I did put the Royals at a close to second, but I put them in third place.
That might be a very good pick by you. I don't think they're gonna sustain this, but that was a
Yeah.
very good pick. I picked Vlad Guerrero to be the MVP for the AL this year, and that's just
Mm-hmm.
looking like money. 15 games in so far, so just go ahead and cash in that check.
Killing it.
Just go ahead and cash in that check.
Did I say Acuna or
I
did
think
I
you
say
did.
someone else?
I think you did. Which I mean, he's killing it
Well,
right now.
he's got an abdominal problem, but it
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be anything serious.
And I said Soto, and he's going on the 10-day DL. So who knows? But
It's way early for Soto. He'll get hot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see. Anything about the
I also
NBA?
just realized Frank Gore's football reference page is still glaring at me, so I'm just gonna stop that.
Anything about the NBA? The Celtics suck, but they're on a roll right now, and Steph Curry's still really good at basketball.
Yeah, Steph Curry is having himself a season that's kind of reminiscent of Kobe Bryant's years in between Shaq and Pau Gasol,
Dude, I
where he's just putting up numbers and they're a mediocre, borderline playoff team.
I was listening to Sports Talk a couple days ago, and this guy was talking about Steph Curry. It's just this stupid, crazy stat, like how Reggie Miller in his career never had one 3-point game or one game where there was one game where he scored more than 10 or more 3-pointers. Okay,
Got
one
it.
game where they score more than 10 3-pointers. Reggie Miller never had
Got it.
one. LeBron never had one. Ray Allen might have had one. Kobe Bryant had one. I'm trying to think who else. Kevin Durant maybe had one. And then
Clay
he's like,
Thompson's had a few.
Klay Thompson had a few. But then she's like, you're talking about all these greatest shooters in this game. And then Steph Curry within the last week has had 3. And it's just like, that's disgusting. That's just the most disgusting stat in the world. Like, he's not fair, but he's on a team that sucks, so it is kind of fair.
It's true. And my general thoughts with Steph are we haven't really ever seen a player like him in the NBA before. We've obviously seen sharpshooters like Reggie Miller and Ray Allen, but he just kind of perfected it to the point where it's like,
He's
do
not.
we have to move the 3-point line back?
He's not even.
Is
Like
this does this really count as 3 points for him, or is this a layup for him?
he's not even like a sharpshooter though. Like that's the crazy thing is like when I look at Steph Curry, I'm like, this guy isn't a sharpshooter. I don't know how to describe him, but like Ray Allen's the perfect example of a sharpshooter. Reggie Miller's like somewhere in the middle of like a playmaker and a sharpshooter, but like
Yeah,
Curry's just like a different animal. And I don't know how to describe him, but it's
he's he's
he's a great
like
shooter of all
there's only
time.
one Curry.
He's a great shooter of all time. That's how you describe
Yeah,
him. All right.
and the fact that we've been saying that for like what, like 5 years, 6 years now, and he's still like, he's
He's
showing
still
us like,
wowing us. Yeah.
even with all the injury problems with his game, it's just like, yeah, I know how to shoot threes. I know my basic abilities to drive to the basket if I need to. Steph Curry is good at basketball, and I feel like if you're doing all time, like you're doing those fun little things with your friends where it's like your all time teams, like Curry can honestly be there because he has something that no one else can bring to the game. Where it's like, yeah, we got freaking Curry, so we're gonna have this element of the game that no one else is gonna have.
You're not gonna put Allen Iverson. Not gonna put Allen Iverson over Steph Curry because Allen Iverson's a top 3 player of all time.
Wait, whoa! Backtrack. Hold up. Hit the rewind button. What the frick did you just say?
That's a inside reference to.
Oh, yes. Okay, I
Yeah,
got it
yeah.
now. I
No,
thought you were being serious.
no,
Okay, yeah.
absolutely not. All right, Matthew. Conspiracy theory time.
Hold on. Let me just calm my tits. All right, we're good.
All right, Matthew. Let me. All right, so go ahead and open the PowerPoint presentation.
All right, I'm trying to figure out a way that I can look at the PowerPoint and also you're reading.
Just go ahead and look at the
All right,
title. Look at the title. Hit the present
got
button
it.
at the bottom, and then just follow along with me.
Got it. We're going.
All right, so Matthew, we have a new conspiracy theory here. This one's sports related.
Okay,
The
that's topical.
the title the title of my conspiracy theory, the truth, but the conspiracy theory is called Canseco. Minnesota aren't the only twins. First slide.
I'll be honest. When I first saw the title, I thought it was like a type of Dorito, but it wasn't.
Yes.
Anyways, continue.
Canseco. Minnesota aren't the only twins. So let's
Not
set
really getting it, but maybe you'll explain it to me.
let's set the story here, the background. So the
Okay.
year is the summer of 1990.
Sure.
Specifically, July 18th is when this story starts. The A's are in first place in the American League, and a huge part of that is Jose Canseco.
Yes.
You get it. All right. So at this time, by July 18th, 1990, Canseco was batting 288 with a 383 on base percentage, a 591 slugging percentage, and a 974 OPS. All really good numbers. And
I would agree.
he had 24 RBI or 24 home runs and 60 RBIs. Very, very good. But the A's are like, hey man, what if we had 2 Jose Cansecos batting for us?
Canseco's.
Canseco. So let's go to the next slide.
Wait, are you gonna? Is this what I think it's gonna be?
Hold on.
Okay. I'm trying to guess, and I'm confusing myself more.
So let's set the story a little bit more. Jose Canseco is a 3-time All-Star at this point. He's the 1986 Rookie of the Year, 1988 MVP, 1989 World Series champion. Part of the infamous Bash Brothers with Mark McGwire. Noted steroid user for both of them, but Jose Canseco, absolutely noted moron. I don't think there's any sort of discussion when it comes to that. He is an absolute moron. Next slide.
Yes.
And then here are some of the moronic things that he has done. Here are some of his great tweets. First tweet from Jose Canseco. Titanic, 100 years. Wow, global warming could have saved Titanic. Sad to say.
It's hilarious.
Next tweet. Roaches have families also. Here's another one. I have painted Bud Selig and Donald Trump and cry every time I look at them. My idea, buddy, at Elon Musk, is that we focus SpaceX on pumping liquid metal hydrogen out of Jupiter. Jupe will feel no effect. It's too big. Another tweet reads, head hurts. Spent most of the day learning telekinesis. Had some good movements. At my fastest, I could easily beat any horse around the bases. This is my all-time favorite tweet. Yes, time travel is possible. We'll explain later. And then, would you swallow your dog's throw up to save your best friend from dying? And of course, dying is spelled wrong. But we're not gonna. So we're not. What we're not gonna do here is we're not gonna put Jose Canseco on blast for any sort of grammar or spelling mistakes. I've been at fault of that
Yeah,
many times. We're
that's
not going to put it on blast. But the content
that's
here
the
is just
least of my concerns right now.
incredibly stupid. All right, so next slide.
Oh man,
So here,
not gonna beat that slide.
here we are saying the story still. So you're asking,
Oh God,
here is Ozzy Canseco.
this.
This is Jose Canseco's twin brother. He played in the minors
Okay.
for 8 seasons before coming up in 1990. The Oakland A's called him up July 18th, 1990, when our story started. Now, you're asking, was this because he had an 807 OPS in 97 games for the Huntsville Stars? Now, an 807 OPS, it's fine. It's a very good number,
Sure.
but it's not going to rate. You're, you're not going to blow the hats off anybody. Or was it because the A's had a trick up their sleeve? Next slide.
Oh.
Now, when you look, you're like, the Canseco brothers look identical. And if you look, their swings also look identical. This is from the same exact game, just minutes
Oh
apart from each
God.
other. So it's time to ask yourself, is it possible that the A's had Jose play the role of two people while Ozzy was just there as a cover up? Next slide.
Hold on. I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting pranked here. Can we confirm these two swinging pictures are different people?
Yeah. I took screen caps from the video, and I can send you the video if
Oh,
you'd
okay.
like.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure. I don't want to get like the last slide is like you're a freaking idiot for believing this, Matt. Kick
No, this
rocks.
is the truth, Matthew.
All right, cool.
So the athletic
Just like the
trap,
Bermuda Triangle.
like the Parent Trap, but the athletic trap. Um,
Got it. Is Lindsay Lohan involved?
Not that I know of.
Frick.
So Ozzy and Jose played 9 games together in the majors. This span
Nice.
went from July 18th to July 28th. So let's take a look at each game.
Let's do it.
July 18th. This is a game against the Cleveland Indians where the Oakland Athletics won 4-1. So,
Got it.
Jose starts in right field, batting third, while Ozzy comes in to pinch hit in the eighth in the sixth spot in the line. This was the second game of a doubleheader when Ozzy first made his debut.
Okay.
So to start the game, Jose struck out to lead off the eighth. 3 batters later, Ozzy pinch hit for catcher Jamie Quirk and also struck out. Now, Jose would have had plenty of time to run into the clubhouse and grab an Ozzy jersey and come back out to pinch hit. Next game, which would be July 20th. So July 20th,
Got it.
Jose starts in right field, batting third. Ozzy starts at DH, batting sixth. The order of Jose and Ozzy's at bats went as followed: ground out to end the first for Jose, sacrifice in the bunt for sacrifice bunt in the second for Ozzy, home run for Jose in the third, ground out for Ozzy in the fourth, single for Jose in the fifth, fly out for Ozzy in the sixth, another home run for Jose in the eighth, another fly out for Ozzy in the ninth. Now, they never batted in the same inning, Matthew, so it's totally possible that Jose ended up hitting in 8 at-bats this game. We do run into the issue of Jose having to change jerseys every inning, but how long does that take? 20 seconds at most?
Yeah.
Next game.
Got it.
July 21st. Jose starts at DH, batting third, and Ozzy comes in to pitch it in the ninth for the ninth spot order. So Jose hits into a double play at the end of the seventh. Ozzy comes in to pitch hit in the sixth batters later and strikes out. Jose would have also had plenty of time to grab an Ozzy jersey, considering that he was a DH that game.
Got it. That's also a cool Blue Jays logo. They should bring that back.
Dude, I was looking at all these like on the Pro Baseball Reference page, and like the '90s logos were just the best. Only trumped by the '70s logos of every team. The '70s logos.
It's just like nowadays they just oversimplify it, and it's just like, come on, add some pizzazz, man.
Yeah.
Back to conspiracies.
July 22nd. So Jose starts in right field, batting third. Ozzy starts at DH, batting sixth. Right. In order of Jose and Ozzy's at bats, went as follows: sacrifice fly for Jose in the first, ground out for Ozzy in the second, single for Jose in the third, strikeout for Ozzy in the fourth, fly out for Jose in the fifth, walk for Ozzy in the sixth, ground out for Jose in the eighth. Again, they never bat in the same inning, but we do have to, run to the issue of Jose changing jerseys over and over again. If that's the case, why not have Jose DH and have Ozzy play right? My guess is that they wanted to keep Ozzy off the field away from umpires and cameras and players as much as they could, so it would become difficult for them to figure out that he was actually Jose. Next game, boy. July 24th. Jose starts at DH, batting third, and Ozzy starts in right field, batting sixth. The order of Jose and Ozzy's at bats: Jose singled in the first, Ozzy struck out in the second. Jose singled in the third, Ozzy singled in the fourth. Jose grounds out to end the fifth. Ozzy strikes on the 6th. Jose strikes on the 7th. Again, they never batted in the same inning in this game. Jose was the DH, making the switch to Ozzy much easier.
Okay.
July 25th, Jose starts at right field batting third. Ozzy comes in the pitch in the 7th for the 5th spot order. So Ozzy pinch hits to lead off the 7th and doubles. He came around to score 2 batters later and 5 batters before Jose came up to hit in the same inning. Jose singled and was on second when Ozzy came up for the second time that inning and strikes out. Clearly, the real Ozzy came up to bat the second time, but the first time could have very well been Jose.
Okay, all right.
July 26th. Jose starts in right field batting third, and Ozzy starts in left field batting sixth. Now, they're both in the field at the same time, so it can only come to the reasonable conclusion that they both played at the same time. So there's no conspiracy theory here. This was a real, normal, legal game.
I don't know. There's more slides.
But July 27th, the next day, Jose starts at DH batting third, and Ozzy comes in to pitch hit for the 9th for the 4th spot order. Jose grounds out to end the 8th, and Ozzy lined out to lead off the 9th. Jose was the DH that day, so again, he could have easily been Ozzy in the 9th.
Okay.
And then July 28th, the final game. Jose started in right field batting third. Ozzy came in to pitch hit in the 9th for the 1st spot in the order. This was the second game of a doubleheader. Jose grounded into a double play on the 7th, and Ozzy pinch hit for Ricky Henderson, of all people, in the 9th. Jose was in right field for this game, but Ozzy hit third in the 9th, giving Jose plenty of time to make the switch. So,
got it.
In conclusion, it is entirely possible, if not probable, that in 1990, Jose Canseco played the role of 2 players and used his brother Ozzy as a cover. And if you're saying, Casey, that's crazy, the Canseco family are repeat offenders. Because as you see here from an article, in 2011, Jose Canseco's twin brother Ozzy tried to impersonate him at a celebrity boxing fight. So this was not the first time, because they realized that if they could get away with it in a Major League Baseball game for 8 games, then they can do it in a celebrity boxing fight. That is my conspiracy theory, and it's actually the truth.
All right. I got some questions.
Too bad.
Why?
Why would the A's do it? Because they wanted Jose Canseco to bat as much as possible, Matthew. That's why.
But why in every game does Ozzy suck and Jose is overall pretty good?
Fatigue.
So, again, I ask, why?
Or
I guess you could make the argument of this was their kind of trial run, and it really didn't work, and it wasn't worth the risk, and maybe that's why they stopped doing it. Or was Ozzy just sent down to the minors or traded or whatever?
But that's baseball, baby. I mean, you're not going to always hit 1,000, so that's baseball.
But why?
But why?
Again, I ask. But why do this other than
to have Jose Canseco, who was known as a very feared hitter in the 1990s, to have more than one at bat, or I'm sorry, more than the 4 at bats a game or whatever. If I am the Angels, I would like Mike Trout to hit 1 through 9 for me.
Okay.
And have just ghost runners.
I would agree with that.
Okay. So why not do the same for Jose?
Would you call this a success?
No, because it didn't work too well.
Right.
But they never got caught. Only by me.
Only by me. I wish we could have video footage of all these games and just kind of study what happens when Ozzy Canseco enters the game. I'm really interested. Do you think how big do you think this conspiracy goes? Do you think it's just a clubhouse-wide thing? Or do you think the A's
I think the A's have cloned every single player.
Like the people that put on the A's games.
This is like the prestige, but
the media. Do you think the media is involved in this too to try and help cover it up?
No, this is like the prestige, but there's like 20 Miguel Tejadas just somewhere in the middle of the woods, just not knowing where to go.
All right. A club-wide thing. Okay, you know what? I'll give it to you. How deep have you gone into this?
Not very deep at all.
Those are the best conspiracies. All right, I love it. Because once you start going deep, you get disappointed. Like, oh,
yeah, exactly. That's why you don't go deep.
Ooh!
You make a PowerPoint and you go on with it.
I want Long John Silver's to be drug smugglers.
They
Gosh dang it!
they're closing, Matthew. Pot's legal and they're closing.
Wait, did they close?
No, not completely yet, but they are.
But they're on the downfall.
Yeah.
All right. I am disappointed by the lack of puns in the title slides. I'll be honest.
I had No Way Jose, but besides that, it was hard to think of twin puns. And when you're talking
Twin
about
puns.
it, yeah, I didn't really know what to do. Like,
Yeah, I got it. Okay, I'll give it
there's
to you.
nothing that goes
All right.
well with Ozzy. Canseco's a hard one. Guy, I'm proud of Canseco's.
I'm not.
You don't have to be, but I am.
The athletic trap. I don't know. I don't know if that's just my dumb brain automatically going to the parent trap,
That's
but
exactly
I got
what
it.
it is. That's exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what it was planned to be. Now, I really wish Oakland or Athletic or something even came close to the word parent, but it didn't. So I
Nah.
just had to work with it.
Yeah.
So next conspiracy
There's
theory, though, there will be more puns. I promise you.
You think there's a conspiracy theory out there that Lindsay Lohan actually has a twin?
Well, let's do some googling here. Lindsay.
Nah, there's no way. Lindsay Lohan's British accent was too bad. There's no way.
Was that her?
Or was that just her twin putting on a bad accent?
So
I don't know.
there is a Lindsay Lohan murdered twin theory.
Not okay. I was just going for has a secret twin, but we're going right for yeah, she freaking killed her. But for what? Drugs? Is that where we're going?
Which speculates that Kelsey was murdered. I'm going to guess Kelsey is the sister in this scenario.
How did we get to confirm that name? Anyways,
Was murdered by Disney just before the release of The Parent Trap.
Disney? What the frick? Why would they murder her?
Many believe this version of that because they think Lindsay's twin was murdered because she was simply a better actor than Kelsey. The second version of the theory has a little bit more going for it. I'll avenge you, Kelsey Lohan, you sweet poor baby girl, as shared by the Tab Twitter user Drug Problem. This is incredible. I'm gonna have to dig deep into this. This might be the next conspiracy theory.
Oh, mama!
I love finding just stupid conspiracy theories and just hey, let's open this up.
It just like when I thought of it, I'm like, I bet you someone put way too much time into getting the logistics of that. And there you go.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. I don't think, Matthew.
You can stay tuned for my upcoming conspiracy theory, which is let me think of something.
I want a real conspiracy theory from you.
Was Corey really in the house? Coming soon.
I don't know what this means. Who's Corey?
Are you familiar with the show Corey in the House, starring Kyle Massey?
I don't believe I am.
Dude, what the frick? It's got a banger of a theme song, and there was a nice little troll going on the internet where people were tricking streamers into thinking Corey in the House was an anime.
Corey in the House. Oh, it's a Disney show. That's why I didn't watch it. I only watched good shows when I was a child.
Yeah, see, Nickelodeon was one in my order. I would always flip, and I had it memorized with my remote flipping. I'd go 23 for Nickelodeon, 24 for Cartoon Network,
Yep.
And then if it was either both commercials or nothing good was on, I think Disney Channel was 47.
47.
And then Disney XD or whatever they called the other channel was 65, which was like a Hail Mary for something to watch, man.
And there was like Nick Jr. at one point, which was like 20.
Oh, yeah.
23 or something. That was trash.
Yeah.
I was lucky because at one point, like, I forget which cable we switched to, but we switched to a cable and we got like a trial package of like Nick Guts. And that was Nick Gas. And that was my favorite.
I remember that. Games and Sports. Freaking Legends of the Hidden Temple, man.
And they would show like all the old commercials too with them from like that time.
Oh, that's dope.
So like you had like the Moon Shoes commercial. You had like I mean, like Zoo Pals was around that time, so like it wasn't like Zoo
Yeah.
Pals was new or like I mean old, but like you know you got the Ribbit Ribbit Zoo Pals commercials. Oh, good times,
Yeah.
good times. And there was Teen Nick. Teen Nick was pretty solid for some good live shows, but a little hit or miss. So yeah,
Nice.
all right.
I had nothing else to add.
Well, I if we got nothing else to add, then I think we can call it there. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the 29th annual episode of the Brown.
Annual.
Well, think about it this way.
What does annual mean? Does that mean once a year?
Yeah, so think about it this way.
All right.
Say we make 100 episodes. All right,
Got it.
in 100 years from now, 200 years from now, it'll average out to an annual episode. If
What?
all right, so say we make all right. So this podcast has been going on for a year now, which is just that's just 2 years. I'm pretty sure.
2 years. Oh, mama.
Let's look up the official Brown Mamba show. YouTube.
Official. Not the copycats.
Yeah, not the copycats. Our first episode was July 13th, 2019.
Huh.
So, before COVID and all that. So we're close to 2 years. All right. Say we get to 100 episodes in 4 years. All right.
Got it.
So, in 204 years, I'm sorry, no, in 104 years, it'll average out, and we stop after episode 100. It'll average out to one episode a year. Whose signed picture do you have in your hands there?
Bob Barker.
Oh, dude, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Is it telling you to spay your dogs or something?
Have your pets spayed and neutered. Or neutered, sorry.
Now,
I pulled that out because I didn't want to listen to your explanation of how that made any freaking sense.
Is this a picture that you sent to him, or did you just request one? Or did you buy this?
I bought this on eBay.
Of course you did.
And listen, I'm pretty scummy for this, all right? I didn't even want to bring this up. This is fresh off of an Alex Trebek death. I was sad. Alex Trebek seemed like a cool dude. And I was so sickened by all the people selling Alex Trebek autographs immediately after his death. Because, like, you could get yourself an Alex Trebek autograph for like $30, right? And now after he died, they were selling for hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, that's messed up. And then right after Alex Trebek, and I see this, and I'm like, frick, I better scoop up a Bob Barker autograph because that guy's getting up there in age.
I'm not.
Plus, who doesn't like Bob Barker?
I'm not gonna shame people for trying to capitalize off of Alex Trebek's death. Suddenly, their product becomes out of commission. So, I'm not.
But like, freaking Trebek goes down with cancer, and you're like, yes, making money. Like, what the frick?
What if they're like, oh man, well,
freaking Kobe passed away. You don't see me like, oh, sick. Time to unload my collection.
Well, what if they're not happy about it? What if they're just like, well, man, this sucks. Let's make some money.
Nah, they're not thinking that. They're thinking, heck yeah, baby.
Oh, quick final thoughts. One, Aaron Rodgers, Best Jeopardy host. Yeah.
I didn't watch any of the other guest hosts, so I don't know. He's got to be better than Dr. Oz. That's for sure.
Is Dr. Oz going to be a guest host?
I think he already was.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
All right, and then Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm going to give my quick thoughts before you dive into this. I thought that turned a very bad movie into just a somewhat bad movie. Your thoughts?
It did improve the movie. Was it worth sitting through an extra 2 hours? No. Am I ever going to rewatch Zack Snyder's Justice League? I am more likely to rewatch Joss Whedon / Zack Snyder's Justice League than the 4-hour Snyder cut.
Yeah.
I am never... I'm good. I don't need to watch it again.
Yeah. So I will say, one, I was never a Zack Snyder fan. I thought all of his movies sucked when it came to DC superhero universe. If there is a superhero universe that stems from the fans' reaction to this, okay, I guess that's pretty cool. I'd like to see Green Lantern up there, and maybe like a Jason Todd Robin or something. I want to see some of that. I don't want to see Jared Leto anymore as the Joker, because that's now two times he's appeared as the Joker, and both times just horrible. Um, I like Ben Affleck. I think Ben Affleck was a great Batman. However, the
Hmm.
entire movie was just him shooting a gun, so I thought he was a little underutilized there. So I don't know. I
I will say I kind of hated Batman in the first cut of the Justice League because I'm like they tried to make him cool and they failed, and then they tried to make him funny and they failed, and it's
Mhm.
like making Batman funny is a really slippery slope because he's kind of this dark, menacing guy, and then he was like cracking jokes. Like in the first one, I remember a scene where like Superman like throws him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I do bleed." Batman wouldn't freaking say that. Kick rocks. I liked him more in the Snyder cut, but that's not really saying much because I absolutely hated him in the original in the
like
first cut.
towards the end of the Justice League, when Clark is asking Bruce how he got the house back from the bank, and Bruce says, "Well, I bought the bank." That is a funny
That's
Batman
dope.
quip that
Yeah,
you can apply. But no, I agree. Batman is not a stand-up comic like Arthur Fleck. He is just a distraught and just kind of cynical, just
yeah.
kind of a dick. Like 99% of the time
He
he's
should
alive.
not be aware that he's being funny.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it's kind of that kind of thing.
If he's
I don't know.
making jokes off of other people's expenses, yeah, that kind of sounds like Batman. That kind of sounds like something he would do.
Sure.
But yeah, no, he's yeah, no, Justice. Both movies sucked. I guess the 4 hour one was a little bit better, but I don't know how much of a.
I wouldn't say the 4 hour one sucked. I mean, it's kind
I
of
thought
cool
it
that it
sucked.
happened
Oh yeah.
because what happened to Zack Snyder was really trash.
Can I jump in really quickly?
Sure.
Zack Snyder. This is gonna take 2 seconds. Stop being a pretentious little baby and thinking, oh yeah, let me format my movie for IMAX, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic. Please
I
continue.
died laughing when I saw this film will be presented in 4:3 aspect ratio to preserve Zack Snyder's vision. I'm a film student and I'm around snobby film. I was around freaking snobby film students before COVID. I don't. I think I could count on my fingers the amount of people that wouldn't die laughing at how pretentious that sounds.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was
But
bad.
Zack Snyder seems like a cool dude outside of it. Like as a person,
Yeah.
seems like a
Oh
cool
yeah.
dude.
Oh yeah.
Compared to all the other Hollywood scum, Zack Snyder seems like a down to earth cool guy.
He seems like a really cool guy. He just sucks at
Hmm.
making superhero movies. Like it is what it is, dude. I'm sorry.
He's better than Joss Whedon,
Yeah, oh,
but
well, better at
that's
Jock.
not really saying much.
I don't know about that.
What
He's
like what? Give me point to me to something.
he's better at Josh Whedon making DC movies, but Josh Whedon made a pretty good Marvel movie.
What do you make? Avengers?
No, he did Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm pretty sure.
I thought that was James Gunn.
No, that was James Gunn. What did Josh Whedon do?
I think he did. I think
He
Joss
did
Whedon did
he
the
did do the
first
first
Avengers.
Avengers and the Avengers Age of Ultron. Okay, Avengers Age of Ultron kind of
Ultron
sucked.
sucked, right? Everyone says Ultron sucks. I've never seen it. I've seen Avengers, and I didn't really care for it. But then again, I didn't watch all the freaking movies,
I
and I didn't really care that much.
I thought first Avengers was a pretty good movie, but
I had, I'll be honest, I can't remember anything, but I remember watching it and being like, oh, okay, that's some.
Age
I,
of Ultron sucked.
I'd take Zack Snyder over Joss Whedon. I'd take Man of Steel over Avengers.
No, Man of Steel was mediocre at best.
It was. All the preaching of Superman being Jesus got a little old, but once once what's his name, Zod, once he came to Earth and
I don't
started
even
causing destruction,
I don't
that was a
even
good time.
I don't even remember Man of Steel. Like I remember like some big things, like circle things, like in the sky with like a laser beam or
Yeah,
something.
that's
I
a lot of superhero movies that have that.
dude, that whole movie just blended in for me. Both of those movies blended in for me.
Yeah, Batman v Superman. It's always on TV now, and I try to flip it on, and it's not working for me.
All right.
But one time I flipped to it, and then it was during the Martha scene, and I got really hyped. That's always good.
It's the dumbest scene in the world.
He just was like, "Holy frick! Both their moms' names are Martha. How can we use this as the essential plot point?" I love it.
Between that and Suicide Squad, it just threw me off.
Oof.
Zack Snyder. Like I was fine with Man of Steel not being great. I personally thought Man of Steel was like a fine movie, but at the same time,
Yeah,
I can see how it was not a good movie.
sure. I feel the same way.
Batman v Super.
I can sit down and watch Man of Steel. That's
Yeah,
about all I can say for it.
Batman v Superman just was not good, and Suicide Squad was just not good. I don't even think I still finished Suicide Squad.
I think he was only the producer for Suicide Squad. I can't remember who the director was, but Suicide Squad is the worst out of all of them.
I can't wait for the new one though. But
Oh, James Gunn. Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy guy's doing it.
yeah, yeah. And John Cena is in it, so
And who's not in it? Will Smith's not in it, right?
Will Smith
He's
is I
out.
think the only one that went out, which is fine. I mean, I thought he was a fine Slade, but uh,
Oh.
it is what it is.
But who's gonna say we some kind of Suicide Squad now?
They
Is
better
Killer
make a
Croc gonna have
they
to
better
step
make
up,
a reference to it.
or is that Shark guy gonna say it?
I hope at some point, like all of them, like into a room, like there's an explosion at like a knife factory, and they're all like all on the ground, and there's like a bunch of knives circling them or something. I hope they make some sort of stupid reference to that.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah. Besides that, I'm trying to think. Well, I hope IMAX opens up here soon because I really need to see Godzilla vs King Kong on IMAX. I still haven't watched it yet, and it's been killing me on the inside. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So,
I got $50 in AMC gift cards burning a hole, man.
is AMC not open yet? I could swear they're open.
They're open. I just need to get there.
Okay. All right. Well, Matthew, I don't know if by the next time we record, you are a college graduate or not. Um,
We'll see how much of a choke artist I am.
but we could have said that last year too, and it still would have been the answer is no.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I guess this is the cliffhanger episode of the Matt Mamba commencement.
To
So,
be continued? Question mark.
that's right. So, thank you for watching Brown Mama Show episode 29. Media links. Fat Jackson fan over there.
Yeah, baby.
Go ahead and watch his newest video on Cheesehead TV. And man, I wish I had something to pimp. I'm putting
You
TikToks
got?
out now.
Are you?
Yeah,
I watched. I remember I liked one of your TikToks.
It was the vasectomy one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Good
Thank you,
one.
thank you. I thought that was a good joke. All right, but yeah. Thanks.
All right, I gotta poop.